Welcome back. In this video we are going to import those models that we exported out from 3ds Max. Now that we've got this project cleaned up, ready for it to come in. Again, all you should have in here is the skylight, your first person character, this directional light, and any other effects you want to keep. Like we kept this atmospheric fog. So let's go ahead and get ready to import it. First off, let's take a look at that clipboard file that we saved, and we need to take note of something. So in these actor spots, we'll find that there's a static mesh component here. We want to look at this right here. So I've gone ahead and I followed a tutorial, which I'll leave the link for, that kind of told me how to import and set up this plugin, and it had me rename this in a config file for the plugin. I don't know if it's necessary, but I'll leave a link to that and it'll show you how to go ahead and do that. But really what's important is that we make sure that whatever folder we have here matches what that says. So I'm going to go ahead in here, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to name it exactly what that was. So export, and you need to make sure that it's in the content root folder, which is your game folder, right? Now I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go to where I saved the project, and the files for the project, and I'm going to go into there, and I'm going to copy them all, and I'm just going to drag them and drop them into here. Now it's going to give me this FBX import option. I want to make sure that skeletal mesh and auto generate collisions are turned off. I want the import translations to be 0, as well as the rotation and the scale to be 1. I don't want to import materials and textures. If you've gone ahead and cleaned them up from Revit into 3ds Max, then you can go ahead and keep these checked, and it'll bring in those materials for you. I didn't clean those up because I prefer to create my materials and apply them here in Unreal Engine. I just think it looks cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those unchecked so that it does not bring in those unneeded materials, right? So let's go ahead, hit import all. It doesn't take very long. It's just going to bring them in and put them into that export folder. Now while it's going, I'm going to want this copied back to my clipboard, so I can hit Control A and Control C. Now this is giving me a warning here. I'm not exactly sure what that warning means. We'll see if it gives us any problems later. If it does, we'll try to find a solution for that. So go ahead and click X here because I no longer need that open. And as you can see, I've got all of those objects in here. And if you notice, they've kind of got a checkerboard thing. That's again because it doesn't have a material applied to it, and we're going to apply a material to it in a little bit. So for example, if you wanted to, you could click and drag, and it brings in it was a good one because it'll show us a little bit how I was talking about how it brings those to 0, 0. And you notice this one isn't located here on the floor. Now floors, walls, roofs, those for some reason don't shift over like they're supposed to in 3ds Max, but that's okay because we're not going to do a lot of manipulation here on the new way. So that's not how we're going to import them though. What we're going to do is we're going to right click here, and with this file copied, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make sure I don't have anything selected, right click, hit edit, and hit paste. Now it's going to bring all those in, and then it might look funky like this. Everything's huge, a lot bigger than I need. It's all scrunched together. But if you notice over here in the transform window, it's got a couple of things put in here. We need to clear out these values. So we want the scale to be 1, and that's going to make everything kind of jump back into place here. Um, Now we also want to make sure that these rotations are set to 0. Now a couple things are going to happen there. We're going to notice that, for example, the windows here aren't correct, but it fixed some of the other problems that were going on. Now I'll explain kind of why that happened here. So what happened is we only have, let's use this Windows as an example, a good example. We only have one window object in here, right? We only exported one, but when it created here, it created these different objects, these window objects, and each of them reference that same static mesh, right? Now these are maintaining the orientation of the first window that I exported, right? So it's going to be correct for some of them, but a lot of them it's not. So we're going to kind of have to come through and maybe clean this model up a little bit, right? So let's make sure nothing's selected. By holding Control, I can select multiple, and I want the rotation on these to be 90. Enter, and those should just snap right into place. So you just kind of have to come around and clean things up a little bit. Now again, none of the materials are applied to this, and we'll kind of come in here and clean those up a little bit. You can, like I said, import those materials in, but again, it's just a preference, and it's a little bit more work cleaning that up. So come in here and transform. I think these windows are a little bit different from the outside and the inside. So I think they're correct over here. So let's, on this side, we're going to want to do -90. Alright, so really anything that was unique, like say the railings or the floor or roof or whatever, those should have imported correctly. It's only the things that shared the name with something else that will probably have imported incorrectly. So let's take a look at this skylight again. Now we notice that the widget's way down here, right? So I'm just going to show you how, why manipulation is kind of a little bit more difficult here. So let's hit by hitting W on the keyboard, we get the moving widget again, and we can kind of tweak this a little bit. And if you notice over here, these are the intervals at which you move within the thing. So this is set to position to move 10 things at once, 10 units at once. I'm going to take that down to 1, and you can fine tune it with the numbers over there. So just by pulling that in, you notice it kind of snap back to where it needs to be for some reason. Okay, alright, that should be good enough. So I'm gonna end this one here, so let's go ahead and hit save. And when I come back, I'm gonna take a look at materials and how to apply them, and where to find some free materials at, and we'll start from there. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.